I'm really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability. I was dealing with.
So there was
I feel really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability. I was dealing with some various issues, dealing with bipolar also. So it would take the ideas I had and have me take them to an extreme where I would forget about the protection of the people around me and myself. So I wanted to come and take accountability. Sometimes people aren't that knowledgeable about the bipolar and the cause or what causes it and the way you act when you have this disease. So it's like if you left the house and you left your kid at the house and your kid went and messed up the kitchen and messed up the garage and messed up the living room. Now when you get back, it's your responsibility because that's your child. And that's the way I look at it. It's like I gotta go clean up the kitchen, I gotta clean up the living room, I gotta clean up the garage. Yeah, and it's a big deal for me as a man to come and take accountability for all the things that I've said. And I really just appreciate you embracing me with open arms and allowing me to make amends. And this is the beginning and the first steps and the first brick by brick to build back the strong walls.
Rabbi said the Judaism. The Judaism brought to the world a way for someone when he regret about something that he has done wrong. And the Jews live on this way of if someone did something wrong, he can regret and fix it. And the Rabbi is hugging you and hugging everybody. And God willing, and from now on, strong things and good things, and only good. You are very good man.
Amen. That's very good.
I feel really blessed to be able to sit here with you today and just take accountability.
Good afternoon. This is Afternoon Sky. I'm your host, Sky. Mr. Troy Star Terrain kind of stole my thunder, but it's what it is. He's the boss. He said I'm a boss. And this is how bosses move. You don't cry over it. You don't say, oh, he took my spot. That's what it is. He gets it in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the late night. I try to get in the morning because if I'm past the late night, my pills are going crazy. And speaking of pills, Mr. Ye, he is focused on docility, willing to learn about the Jewish repentance. So that's all that this is right now. This is his road to redemption, as they say. He's trying to get on better footing again. But what about the blacks? What about the blacks? They are always crying and whining over something. FBA, will they ever get their chance at saying sorry? Will Ye ever visit with Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or any of those figures? Will he be in the same lock position? Will he hug the person, the Al Sharpton or the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton or Reverend Jesse Jackson? Who knows? I don't think it's going to be possible, but we will see. We shall see. I think that We have a man who is conflicted at 47 years of age, still very wealthy. That's what's so insane about all this. He lost his billionaire status, but he's worth about $400 million still. That's not nothing to sneeze at. $400 million is still a lot of money if you look at it. So Brooklyn is asking, is he releasing or dropping new music? I have no idea. I have not checked. This is the first time in all these years. It hasn't been never on this platform, I think. I'm pretty sure I have never said anything about Ye. This is the first time I think I'm ever even speaking about Ye because I have a article on vocal.media. I'm going to put that in the live chat. Hold on. I'm going to put a link to that. So I don't know if he's releasing any music. He may, but will he be a repeat offender? Will he say sorry and then flip on everybody and do the same thing over again? So there's the link to the story. Please peruse at your own leisure and your own convenience. No, this is a sad moment, really, because it's a great moment because he's apologizing to Jews, which is completely warranted. Completely, he disrespected the Jewish community. Completely anti-Semitic remarks. And I know Semite means also Arab and people of the Middle East and stuff like that, but it mainly pertains to Jewish people. I understand people say, oh, well, you Semites are the Semitic people or people of the Middle East or something like that. That's true, but it's not really it. He's not a real rabbi. He's a Hollywood rabbi. Please qualify your statement, Brooklyn. Qualify. Give me stats and facts and figures related to this rabbi being a Hollywood rabbi. But anyway, so Ye has been, he's on bended knee. He's kissing the rings. He's, showing himself to be, very docile. Like literally the word docile. He's willing to accept instruction or learning or teachings. And so he's in a state of docility. He's very relaxed. He's not, focused on anything other than that. So he's very aware of what he is doing, but is he completely aware? Because I can tell from experience, I'm a bipolar patient as well. I take pills every day to keep my chemicals in my head together. Rabbi Pinto has a checkered past with Michael Jackson. I'm Jewish. Okay, I see. Okay, cool. But no rabbi. Okay. So give me some stats though. Give me some facts. Salute to King Hazy. Salute to you, sir. Respect. Peace up. Shalom. But no, but yes, you're Jewish, Brooklyn, and he's no rabbi. But give me proof that he's no rabbi. You say you're alleging that he has a checkered past with Michael Jackson, but what is his what doesn't qualify him as a rabbi? I've not seen this anywhere else. You may be Jewish, but I wish you would, capitalize the J in Jewish. You capitalize Hollywood, but you didn't capitalize Jewish. That's very interesting. I don't know if that's a slip or anything. I don't know. Why do it on camera otherwise? I would say I'm not trying to cape for him, but I would say to just let the world know that he's trying to, come out of his shell, come out of, hiding or come out of some kind of bind that he placed himself in when he disrespected the Jewish community. But my point is he going to do it for the blacks, for them, for those people that claim to be of the FBA, Foundation of Black Americans? Brooklyn says, I don't scream and use uppercase letter. No, the first letter of Jewish, the first letter should be capitalized in Jewish. Not the whole thing. I was just saying the first letter in Jewish. And you capitalize Hollywood and Michael Jackson. And you didn't capitalize the word the name Pinto. What's going on? Jerris, there you have it. You spelled there wrong, but that's fine. I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you. I'm just messing with you, Brooklyn. All of your YouTube shorts don't have any volume. Yeah, I know. I noticed. They're just silent. They're silent pictures. And they have like 100 something views. Some of them have like 200, 300 views. People are just watching to watch, I guess. I don't know. Just to see my mouth move, I guess. I don't know. But thanks, Max Vision. We need to hook up sometime to get to these films. I have 3 scripts written. You're on those Kanye meds, my friend. Yeah, it's true. If he's on lithium, he is. If he's on clonazepam, if he's on the olanzapine, and if he has to take those drugs and then take trazodone to help you go to sleep, yeah, that he's on them. Put on Nissan black reaction on this. I'm not gonna put other people's just their reactions. I'm not gonna do that. Oh wow, silent scripts. No. I have 3 written scripts for shooting, for actual films, for actual talkies, I guess you can say. For talkies. I have 3 scripts written. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I have 2 scripts, 2 screenplays written, 1 play written. 2 screenplays and one play that I'm planning to adapt into a screenplay. And they're all talkies. Everybody's talking. Get your YouTube shorts right, and then we could possibly talk. How do I get them right? Please let me know, Max Vision Films. Tell me how do you get them right? Just delete them or send them into private? That'll take away my views, but let's see. Nassim is a rapper who converted to Judaism. He is my rabbi. Okay. That's interesting. Who was that rapper in the mid 2000s? Yusef something. He was a Jewish rapper. I can't remember. What are you talking about? Add audio. Did I say add audio? I just said that they're without audio. They're just silent. But yeah, we have to talk about this. I'm gonna talk about FAA later. It's gonna be in the second half of the show. Did you end up tapping in with Star earlier because you never answered when he had you on the line? Yeah, I did tap in. I did. I had the vacuum cleaner was running. Yeah, so I definitely got on the line, talked about, the fact that Jews wear big hats too. I had to make that known. I had to mention that. There's such thing as big hats. I have that in the article. They're wearing the big hats. I don't know what they're called, but they had the big black hats and the brown hats. It's all about the hats and with faith, and it's also about please remove your caps for the national anthem. Why do you have to remove your cap for the national anthem? That's what the late great George Carlin asked. Like, what is the point? Why even have a hat? But I wear a hat all the time. But it's crazy. It's crazy. No, not the pilgrim hats. The pilgrim hats have buckles in them. That's too showy. That's not humble enough. The pilgrims are a little showy. They're more like the Quaker hats or the Mennonite and Amish hats. They're not as showy, or they're more modest. Only okay. The fur hat is oh my god! I'm gonna just destroy this. Thank you for this, Brooklyn. You're gonna be one of my key. You might get a wrench if you can give me enough money, or if you send enough people my way, and you can confirm it. But he says the fur hat is a strymel. Strymel. Did I get that right? Strymel. Only married wear that. Mary Min. Okay. And what is the black hat with that like brim around it? It's like a black hat that has the brim, like a wide brim, but it's like it's thin. It's like a high black top with a thin brown brim. Thank you. He said I got that right. Appreciate it. I'm not. No. That's not a yarmulke. Yarmulkes are the small hats. I'm talking about the big hats that Jews wear. Boys over 13 wear that. What is it called, Brooklyn? What is that one called? I seen it. It's in the Let me see. I'm gonna show my story. I'm gonna share it right now. See? Okay, you had the man on the left of the picture with the white and black. I don't know what that's called, but he's wearing the larger hat. It looks like a fur hat kind of thing. It's a big hat. It's not a small hat. He's got the bigger, thicker beard. And then there's the man with the all black with the white shirt, and he has a black hat with a wide brim, and he's got the curls. That's a Biber hat. Is that what you're saying? It is. It's a Biber. So we have a Strymel and a Biber. The white and black is a prayer shawl. Talit. Everything has a name. That's what I love about I don't love about faith, but I'm just saying it's a thing about faith. Everything has a name, has a function, has some kind of thing. Just to pass on the tradition. I'm an atheist, but that's where I am. King Hazy asked, why don't the Jewish and the Hebrew Israelites get along? I don't know. That's part of it too. It's infighting. There's infighting. There's fighting amongst the Christians. There's fighting amongst the Islamic faith. Okay, so we got that. It's a Biber and a Strymel. Strymel and a Biber. Biber and a Strymel. Should remember that. Biber and Strymel. Is that right? I'm looking for. Hold on. Okay, so the curls come with the hat or something. What is this? Biber and a. Is it Biber or Biber? What I might have messed that up. I'm destroyed that. And a Strymel. Strymel and Biber or Biber. Strymel. But anyway, Ye is confessing to, and it's only for Ashkenazi Jewish men, mainly members of Hasidic Judaism or Shabbat and Jewish holidays. The more religious wear the side curls and beards and hats. Okay. So wow, you are saying a lot. Love to talk to people to other perspectives. Yeah, it's great. Yes, it's great. Because we can come together on respect. That's the best part. All right, King Hazy says, so the Kanye situation was purely for entertainment purposes. I don't think so. I think he was sincere. I think he's sincere for this moment. He could flip in a second, but I think he's sincere in this moment. Brooklyn says, it says the same thing. Okay, but I think he's sincere. Actually, I think he's actually in this moment very sincere. He's very to the point, very straightforward, and very understanding of what it means to be a citizen, in the world. I don't know if it's cynical. It could be kind of cynical to say like, well, he's going after the Jews so he can get his money back. I mean, that's like almost the definition of cynical. Could be true, but it's laced with a lot of negativity. And we're trying to push the P. We're trying to push the positive right now. So I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt, the full benefit of the doubt, whether he is actually trying to show himself to be an agent for good, or if he's just trying to get a paycheck again, which is good. Nothing wrong with getting money, but at what cost is he getting this money? He's going to ignore the blacks. He's going to ignore the FBA. Definitely, he's not. I can't see him going to Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Jesse Jackson and other figures, Tariq Nasheed and other black figures, and have him apologize to them for essentially stepping out and saying slavery was a choice. Yes, it was a choice, but you had to understand there were consequences of you making the choice of not being a slave anymore. In Jamaica, there was Derby's dose. Derby's dose, you can look up on your own. I'm not going to explain it on the show, but look up Derby's dose on your own and understand what it really meant. Just understand that. And that's the choice that has to be made. That's the choice. King Hazy says, I lived in a 90% Jewish community twice. They wouldn't drive on their weekends. They walked facts on Saturday. That's their holy day. They shun using electrical appliances. They shun using combustion engines, internal combustion engines, all that. They also have their own ambulances. Good point, King Hazy. That's a good point. Yeah, so that's the reality of it. That's what people don't understand. For that day, they're kind of like the Amish are almost all year round, but the Amish kind of have a way in Mennonites even less. They have Rumspringa. You have the chance to become part of the outside culture, or continue on as an Amish person. Brooklyn says from Friday sundown to Saturday night, no phones and no internet. Exactly, that's facts. No phones, no internet, no driving, of course, no alcohol, no drinking, nothing like that. So that's the reality of it. That's just the truth. We have to come to grips with all that. And that's what I think, Ye may not even fathom. He may not even understand it. He may just have an inkling, a small understanding of what he was doing. Oh, okay. Brooklyn says you're allowed to drink. Okay. I stand corrected. Maybe there's a certain kind of limit to your drinking. I don't think you can get drunk. You can't get drunk on that day. And you there's probably certain, you can only drink certain wines, I guess you can drink. I don't think you can drink hard liquor. You probably can't drink, vodka or something like that, or gin. You can't drink spirits on that day, I would imagine. Maybe Brooklyn correct me again. He has more knowledge than I respect that. How did you find out about my channel, by the way, Brooklyn? Were you here before? I don't remember. It's been a while. Yes, Manshowitz. Manshowitz. I think that's how you pronounce it. Manshowitz. If you're drunk, you can't drive Saturday night. Yeah. Well, you can't drive anyway, can you? You can't drive an internal combustion engine or a battery powered engine. You can't use any electricity. You can't use any appliances. None of that. All that's cast out. But what I'm saying is, I'm glad Ye did this algorithm. Okay. I'm glad Ye did this. This is a good look. This is a good thing that he did. He showed himself to be, very submissive, very, as I like to say the word docile. That was the prime word, because he's accepting instruction. He's accepting the Jewish repentance. Where is it? Teshuvah. teshuva, the Jewish repentance. And so he was able to do that. And I respect that about him on that level. What I don't respect about him is, why didn't he go to black people first? Why didn't he go to FBA first? Black people have no power. There's spending power. There's trillions of dollars that blacks consume. You know, they use their dollars to consume, but they own nothing. There are no nations in the world with black people that are very strong and very independent and very powerful. It's just white and yellow and a little bit of brown, little red, but no black. No black. There are no black nations, nothing. The closest one probably be Nigeria, and they don't have it all together. So for Ye to go about and say something against the FBA and not think that he should, show some apology, show some kind of remorse for what he did. That's the problem. Yes, Brooklyn said, yes, that's true. He shouldn't have given out the Nazi song. The Nazi song is crazy. He had what was it? Vocals or something like that from Adolf Hitler. Like, what are you're being he's a provocateur. He's being an extreme provocateur. Eminem is a provocateur, but mainly in the fictional kind of sense. He's not, he's using real life situations like his mom and his dad and stuff like that. But he's not going after whole people and their background and their journey and their culture like he did with the Jews and the blacks. And he should be reprimanded for that. I say he should be not forgiven and nobody should forget about it. That's my standpoint. I'm being positive, but I have to be, pretty tough on him. Because why now? Because he issued something, I think, years ago or months ago. He was like, I'm sorry for what I did to the Jewish community, whatever it was. Now, with the cameras trained on him, and then, after the hug and after the meeting of the rabbi and Kanye and the interpreter of Ye, I guess you can say, that brought about something that was never really understood beyond what it is. Nobody really understands what really took place. I understand it. I understand that's a bipolar patient that has ideas that float around in his head that correspond with reality or don't correspond with reality. Sometimes he's on the good foot. Sometimes he's not too astute. It's a problem. So I have to say that there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue here. There's going to be an issue of whether he knows what he's doing or not, which I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I don't think he has a firm grasp on reality. He's gained weight, so I guess that's a proof or idea that he's taking his drugs. I think he has that sense to him. King says that's not true. Something did take place. They tried to medicate him as well as influence King to monetize his kids. Facts. That's true. What I'm just saying is that he still is he still has some drugs, I think, in his system, because he wouldn't be so heavy set. I mean, stuff you have to look up I can't even remember her name. Oh my god. But she was like a little tiny songbird. Now she's kind of heavy set now. I can't think of her name. She's a beatboxer. I'm looking for her name. Butterscotch. Look up Butterscotch. Look up her up through the years and see what she looks like now. She looks totally different because she had psychiatric issues as well. Brooklyn says, what is he doing to Bianco and Corey is called human trafficking. Well, we're not going to say that, sir. Not on this platform. That's totally alleged in your words. The views expressed by Brooklyn do not correspond with those of Sky or Evening Sky or any of its affiliates. Viewer discretion and listener discretion, please be advised. I have nothing to do with that. I have no clue what the hell he's talking about. Brooklyn's on some other stuff. But yeah, so I just don't see him going around making his rounds to the blacks. Because if you're black, because that's the thing too. If you're black, you talk about blacks, you really don't get canceled. You know, Roseanne Barr got canceled because she said something, I think, about against the Jews, actually. She may have said some other things against the blacks as well. I'm looking it up right now. Oh, here it is. Roseanne Barr has a history of making controversial statements, most notably a racist tweet in 2018 where she compared Valerie Jarrett, an African-American former senior advisor to President Obama, to an ape. The tweet stated Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ. So that's what she said, and she got booted from her own show. They had to make a whole show around just called The Connors, and that just wrapped up either last year or this year or something like that. Let me see. Michael Richards. Michael Richards had the meltdown on the stage. There's hanging a nigger. They're hanging a nigger or something like that. And he just completely had a meltdown. So that's just the reality. We'll take it off. I guess you will. But yeah, so, but if it's black people, they're like, that's all right. It's just he's black, so he can say it. It's all right. I guess. But he is white. Oh my God. Oh. He said this about the black people. And I still hold on to the idea of slavery. I actually agree with what he said. I said, he's not sure or certain of what he said, but he's actually telling the truth. Slavery was a choice. You can either be a slave or not be a slave and be whipped and burned and hung up into a tree and castrated and shown through all your family members watching all this. That was the choice. Be a slave or be hung up by evening. Or have your foot chopped off. Or have your hand chopped off. Or have your tongue sliced out of your mouth. That's the choice. And then there came a choice when later on in the 19th century, where it was more escaped slaves to the north via the Underground Railroad, that was a choice. You could be bit by snakes. You could drown in the river. It's all choices. But what's worth it? Liberty, your freedom, or staying in bondage and saying, oh, well, slavery's going to last for another 1,000 years, so everything's going to be this way forever. And the saddest part is people lived and died as slaves. That's what's scary and sad and depressing, but it's the truth. Also, with Jews, it's kind of like the same idea. That's why he went to the rabbi, because he knew that he had to go to a very respected. Brooklyn's telling me he's not that respected. The Rabbi Pinto, Said he had a checkered past with Michael Jackson or something like that. I don't know about that. All I know is that he's a rabbi. Maybe he's a rabbi to the stars. I don't know if that's true. But you know, that's the reality behind that. Okay, switching up a little bit. Let's talk about the FAA. Let's get some video going. Okay, here we go. Okay, I didn't know when it was starting, so okay. Okay, here we go.
Airports across the country are bracing for even more flight cancellations and delays after the FAA announced it will cut 10% of flights at dozens of major airports.
Our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
Experts say airlines would be forced to cancel thousands of flights nationwide in the coming days.
What will this mean practically for air travel? Is this going to lead to more flight delays, more cancellations?
Well, I think it's going to lead to more cancellations. That we're going to work with the airlines to do this in a systematic way.
ABC News obtaining the list of the 40 airports that will be impacted, from the nation's busiest airport, Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson, to LAX, Dallas, JFK, Miami, Detroit, and DCA here in Washington. Air traffic controllers have been forced to work without pay during the government shutdown, leading to staffing shortages, delays, and ground stops. More than 60,000 TSA workers also missing their paychecks, creating long lines and wait times at security checkpoints.
We're petrified. We are concerned.
At Dulles International Airport, FAA radar technician and union rep Cleverson Schmidt says the strain has reached a breaking point.
So you were already short-staffed.
Correct.
And how much worse has the shutdown made it?
It's exponentially made it worse because we're exhausted now.
And how much does that compromise air safety?
Every day it goes up. That compromise goes up every single day.
Sources say the FAA will start cutting 4% of flights starting tomorrow and ramp up throughout the weekend. The CEO of Frontier Airlines now encouraging passengers to buy backup tickets on separate airlines if you're flying in the next 10 days. Experts warning of massive headaches for travelers.
This is going to be an unimaginable, unprecedented, unwelcome, unpleasant level of chaos. If you don't have to fly starting on Friday, please don't. Stay home.
So if you are traveling in the next few days, here is what you can expect. More delays and more cancellations. These restrictions begin tomorrow. They're going to ramp up over the course of the weekend and into next week. The transportation secretary even saying he may be forced to close parts of the U.S. airspace as this government shutdown continues. Now, some airlines like United are offering customers full refunds if they decide they do not want to travel, even if their flights are not impacted. But if you do decide to keep your flights, you are going to want to show up to the airport extra early. You're going to want to keep checking to make sure that your flight is still scheduled to take off, Michael.
Yeah, this is affecting so many people, Rachel. And Rachel, we're now learning that a government program that helps millions with energy assistance is being suspended.
Yeah, and this is definitely a gut punch, Michael, to so many across the country because millions of low-income Americans are already worried about whether they're going to receive their SNAP benefits, that federal food assistance program. And now the Trump administration announcing that it is halting funding due to the government shutdown for an energy program that helps low-income Americans, about 6 million of them, pay their heating bills. Of course, this comes as we are approaching winter and the colder months, and as this shutdown drags into day 37, Michael.
All right, Rachel, thank you all, as always, for your great reporting. I appreciate you.
So there you have it, the FAA. Failure for failed airline associates. Yeah, there should be no FAA. There should be no Federal Aviation Administration at all. Because, not just because, and I'm not exaggerating here, they're running off of Windows 95 and floppy disks, which is true in some circumstances. It's because of the morality. Morally, there should be no FAA. There should be no government agency that governs airlines or flight, aerospace. Let that be up to the private organizations. Let that be up to Blue Origin, who is doing things NASA's doing, or Elon Musk's SpaceX. I know those aren't airlines, but I would love to see a whole airport. I would love to see a whole, airspace dedicated completely privately, because they deal with, like, it's like a mishmash. It's like private, privately owned commercial flights, but they're governed by federal agents. That's a problem. That to me is an issue. Could you imagine? And it was in 1928, I think it was, when the first thoughts of an FAA. There was but the FAA didn't come to existence until I think 1958 or 1957 or 1958. They're always saying to protect the American people or for safety. They don't give a goddamn about the American people or safety. They could care less. They just want control over people's minds and bodies. That's all they want. And to get dollars from people, as best as they can. So the FAA, just imagine if the FAA was in place in 1903 for the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers just could literally not get off the ground. Literally, they would not be able to get off the ground because they'd be mired in, well, there's regulations against going off of Kitty Hawk. You can't go into the beach. You can't go here. The plane has to be this much weight. This has to be They would have never been able to do anything. They have been selling bicycles. We wouldn't have any air traffic to speak of because there wouldn't have been any more advances or any ideals. I like to think about the positive. I'm pushing the P today. There's a such thing called boom, which it will be supersonic air travel, again akin to the Concorde, which was retired because of irrationality, because of fear, because of this premonition, this idea that it would explode in the air or explode on the ground or something like that. It was one of the best ways to fly. You got alcohol, you had wine, you had comfortable seating, you had great views. I mean, and you just had the sonic boom, but that was that was only just for a moment. That was just a moment, and I think with the boom aircraft, they're going to be over the sea or over just barren land. It's not going to affect any houses or any residential or commercial spaces. That's what I can see so far. That's what I can understand. But I just FAA is just another example. If you're going to shut down something, shut down the FAA. I know you can't shut it down right now, but in the coming days, coming years, coming decades, we can phase it out. Just look at what Amazon is. Look at the structure. Look at the algorithms that Amazon operates on. That should be the FAA. There should be no FAA. There should be only privatized airlines. That's it. I'm not talking about United and Southwest and America. I'm talking about the entire airports being completely privatized. That's what I'm talking about. I would love to see that. I would love to see them actually put that into effect. For once, we should be able to appreciate the idea that all this is for a thought. It's for a thought that we can privatize. I mean, what do we have? We have iPhones, we have Samsung, we have Google phones. All that is not government. Could you imagine if there was a government phone? They have Obama phones. I know they have Biden and Trump phones, but Just imagine how messed up they are and what they would be. You know, and they were part of the national scene. The national scene is iPhones and Samsung and Google phones. That's part of the national scene. If government was more, we have to contend with healthcare and education. That's that should be done by the government. That's we have no problems with that. But hands off my phone, hands off this little device with apps and stuff like that. You can have my brain, you can have my body, but don't touch my phone. That's Apple's idea. Why can't there be Apple for FAA? Why can't there be Samsung FAA? Why can't there be Google FAA? No FAA. Get rid of it. Completely eliminate it from its perch. Completely. That's the sole goal that should be on everybody's docket, because you have to ask the question: does this protect individual rights? No, it does not. So eliminate it. That's as simple as that. Whenever you come across a government agency, the courts, does this protect individual rights? Yes. Keep it. The EPA, does this protect individual rights? No. Get rid of it. It's just that simple. It doesn't take much to say, oh, well, maybe you can kind of keep it. No, it's yes or no. And it's definitely a fact or not. That's the reality. So we have to really just, stay within the bounds of reality and not look towards different, ideas about the government. The government is a gun. It's not a nanny. It's not an air traffic controller. It's not anything like that. It's not a scientist. So I think it's IC. Ideas, science, economics, and education. That's what the government should be completely barred from participating in. That's what should be completely off its radar screen, to not, be so flippant, or no pun intended. But that's what it is. I mean, you have 10% cut off, and then there's 60,000 TSA workers that without pay or benefits. There should be no TSA. What do you need with TSA? Oh, please. Beforehand, it used to be put your shoes in the bin. Now we don't have to put our shoes in the bin, but we have to go through the metal detector still. We have to go through all this stuff. And the irony of all of this is, September 11th, they had box cutters with them, and those were completely they were fine. You can have you can have a chainsaw literally on the plane if you really wanted to. Maybe not now, but maybe it was 20 years ago, I'm sure. Maybe they changed things now. But I mean, George Carlin joked about it. The late great George Carlin joked about it. So you just have to take all this with a boulder of salt. If I get the metaphor correctly, nobody's fighting. Nobody is fighting. There's no one. No one in government, at least. Nobody in government. There's plenty of private. There's Dr. Yaron Brook. There's Dr. Ankar Gate. There's Dr. Ben Bayer, and among others in the Ayn Rand Institute, who are fighting for these issues, saying it every day, every single day they're fighting for it. Mr. Chorsar Terrain is fighting for it. He's fighting for freer abilities, not the government, overbearing and invading our lives. That's not what he's fighting for. We're fighting for a government that is run solely to protect individual rights. That's it. Not for SNAP benefits, not for food stamps, not for FAA, none of that. All of that should be held to the private hands. For SNAP benefits, should be private charity. For food stamps, private charity. For FAA, definitely privatize exchange of dollars through the means of individuals, because they always say, like, you go, I'm going to China, just to, going the country of China, but you're going to a place with individuals. Like, it's a weird thing. It's like we collectivize, but only try to do it because there's so many people that you have to say, well, the Chinese, you have to say, even Americans, you have to say it. But they're Chinese individuals and American individuals at the same time. So with the FAA, in their Windows 95 and floppy disk, era, computer systems, it's really sad and scary, because it's going to be like the second season of Breaking Bad. If I'm not going to, ruin it for you, but it had a effect on one of the characters, and they tied it together so well. The reason why this incident occurs is very intricate and very satisfying and powerful. I think that's what had me hooked to that show. I had not seen the first season, but I watched the second season and onward, and I was just completely hooked from there. And it got better and better. That's one of the things that is great when you get a series like Breaking Bad and The Wire and The Sopranos and oh god, Mad Men. It gets better and better and better each season as it progresses. But I totally digress. But you understand what I'm saying if you see the second season of Breaking Bad and what happens. But that is what the FAA. That's why there should be no FAA. The FAA is completely corrupt. It is a terrible thing. It is horrific. So, it is just amazing how we even put up with all this. We should be able to fight and continue to ask our government, who are servants. That's the thing. These are well-positioned servants. We have to remember that. They serve us. It's not the other way around. Once we pay our taxes, that's payment for you to do something. That's like paying some. If we are forced to pay taxes, we're forcing you to protect our rights. Or maybe not forcing you to, but we're paying our taxes so that we can have our rights protected. That's the whole goal. And the sole role, I'm sorry for the rhyming, but that's the sole role of government, to protect individual rights. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's how we should see it. That's how it should be taken. So air traffic controllers, being laid off or furloughed or whatever the case may be, cutting off, a percentage of the workers. You had the planes literally falling out of the sky. Could this happen under anything else? And the NTSB is also another agency that doesn't need to be. National Transportation Safety Board, another bureaucratic BS system that doesn't need to exist. So I just say that, with the FAA being so, I mean, entrenched in everybody's mind, just like education and health. It's so entrenched in everybody's mind. Oh, the government's got to do that. That's still the government's right now. Just like what we think about with roads and things like that. Yeah, roads are going to be almost obsolete in a sense in a few years anyway, because we're going to have flying cars. But for them to land, for them to have some kind of era, you can fly and drive. Hybrid. That would be a hybrid car. One that flies and drives. That would be a magnificent. That would be really, really cool. That'd be awesome. So I just I just want to ensure that there's an out. There has to be an out. I'm pushing positive. I'm trying to push positive. Like Mr. Choice Terrain said, we're pushing positive. Get rid, it's a negative, but it's a positive. You have to get rid of the FAA, get rid of the Federal Aviation Administration, and let private companies take over like anything else that's supposed to be private. The cops shouldn't be private, warriors shouldn't be private, and courts shouldn't be private. There should be no court system that should have private judges. That'd be insane. They should all be government, and that's about it. But every private citizen should have the comfort of mind of knowing that they're on a safe flight, that they have well trained faculty or not faculty staff. They have well trained staff aboard their planes, that they're not going to be hijacked or anything like that. They're not going to have any issues, and the wings won't fall off, the engine won't fall off, anything like that. It's just it takes its toll, because these are people's lives. 12 people died in the Kentucky fire, in the Kentucky plane crash. Of course, you don't say a lot of people. Oh, it was 12,000. We'd be like, oh my God. But it's like, oh, it's 12 people. We'll report on it. It's just 12 people, sorry for their families, whatever. That's how sad it is. We don't really, if it was one person, we should have respect and admiration for them and their family. FAA's got to go. FAA has got to go. With a long list of other alphabet soup agencies: the FDA, the DEA, OSHA, NOAA, NTSB, DMV, mail system. All of that should be privatized. We already see UPS, FedEx, Amazon, way ahead of the curve. Walmart, way ahead of the curve. Have algorithms and computer systems that are so far in advance that it makes your head spin, because they're just so efficient and they're so effective. They've made billionaires out of people, apparently, right? That's the reason why you have billions, is because you create such a great product, you create such a great service, that it warrants you to have so many billions of dollars. That's facts. But I digress. I go off. I'd like to thank Brooklyn for the knowledge, Max Vision for knowledge, King Hazy for knowledge. I think that's everybody that came in today. Yeah, that's everybody that came in. So I will see you sometime, probably in the morning tomorrow, maybe even late tonight. We'll see. I don't know, but I just wanted to get this one off. Please make sure you read the story It's on vocal.media. Just type in reason first. Yay. And I'll see you some other time. Take care.